Oh, oh, oh. सदाशिव समारंभां
सदाशिव समारंभां
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां
वन्दे गुरु परंपराम्।
वंदे गुरु परंपराम्।
वसुदेव सुतं देवम्
वसुदेव सुतं देवं
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
देवकी परमानन्दम्
देवकी परमानंदम्
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्।
So we are saying the 12th shloka of 12th chapter. श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासात्
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
त्यागात् शान्ति अनन्तरम्.
त्यागात् शान्ति अनन्तरम्।
So this is the 12th shloka of 12th chapter, which kind of summarizes the entire teaching, not only Bhagavad Gita teaching. Any teaching, I mean, this 12th chapter actually summarizes the teaching. So once we say 12th chapter, we can just, in our mind, we can replay the whole teaching. So now we say that the 7th shloka of 2nd chapter, which is Arjun's prarthana and Arjun's surrender, Arjun's submission, Arjun's commitment to the teaching. And to answer that, in answering that, the entire Bhagavad Gita came out. So this is the 7th shloka of 2nd chapter. It's a prarthana. Karpanya dosho upahat svabhavah
कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभावः
prachami tvam dharma sammudachetah
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता
yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme
यच्छ्रेयस्यानिश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे।
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शादिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्।
So if we say the shlok with that feeling के भगवान मेरे सामने खड़े हुए हैं and I am like Arjun, and that with that feeling, and when we read Bhagavad Gita, it looks like Bhagwan is teaching to me, and that's what happening here. So Arjun ने ये प्रार्थना करी कि I'm confused about my swadharma. Can you tell me what is shreyas for me? Shadimam tvam prapannam shishyasteham. I am your shish, and give me the direction, my buddhi in the right direction, which exactly we say in Gayatri Mantra. And today there was a question last week about Guru and Shishya relationship, and we'll talk at the end, because last week was Guru Purnima also, and how Bhagavad Gita addresses, or Bhagavad Gita, how it demonstrates Guru Shishya relationship. We'll talk at the end. But we have finished last week 6th chapter. We'll just recap very quickly 6th chapter, and then we get into the 7th chapter, which is today's topic. So 7th chapter is, and let's finish 6th first, and then we'll talk about a summary of or a beginning of 7th chapter. So 6th chapter we finished last week. We'll read the last shlok one more time, which typically in the end of each chapter, Bhagwan didn't say chapter Arjun में chapter खत्म कर रहा हूँ, but हमारे जो आचार्य लोग हैं उन्होंने compile किया था very nicely. They gave a logical end to the chapter, because they realize that oh, this there is a teaching, this part completed, so next part. So they had done it. भगवान ने तो कभी नहीं बोला होगा कि ये chapter चल रहा है. So but nicely our acharya has done, so it helps us in teaching, right? So 6th chapter ends with 47th shlok. We'll just read one more time. योगिनाम अपि सर्वेषां
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो माम्
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां
तमे युक्ततमो मतः.
में युक्त तमो मतः। और हे प्यारे, संपूर्ण योगियों में भी जो श्रद्धावान योगी मेरे में लगे हुए अंतरात्मा से मेरे को निरंतर भजता है, वह योगी मुझे परम श्रेष्ठ मान्य है।
So Shivanji, you can read if you have English part, right? Or you are on mute, right?
I don't have the 6th chapter with me.
Okay, so no problem. I can do it. But so we saw that 46 and 47 shlok are at the end of, and the 6th chapter we'll just go over quickly. In the beginning of 6th chapter, and every chapter kind of when we go forward, Bhagwan is touching two topics, which are basically the Bhagavad Gita teaching, and that these two topics are Gyan and Karma. That's it. There is nothing other than in Bhagavad Gita. Everything is Gyan and Karma. So in the beginning of kind of every chapter, Bhagwan will bring that again, because that's the whole teaching. And typically when the class with kids, I ask them, what is Gyan? So Gyan, whenever we say Gyan in sense of Bhagavad Gita or our Vedantic teaching, it is Atma Gyan. There is no other Gyan. It is Atma Gyan. We call it self-realization or self Brahma Gyan, but Atma Gyan. And what is Karma? Karma is Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma. So we have to supply those words. It's not just ordinary karma. Bhagwan is talking about Nishkam karma. So in the beginning of 6th chapter, Bhagwan talked about again Karma Yogi. And he says that who Karma Yogi means again Nishkam karma. Then he talked about, when he went further down, Bhagwan talked about the Gyan Vidhi. And we saw that what we do in the class we'll do at the end also. It is coming from Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Shlok 11 to 13. That's the Gyan Vidhi. That's a meditation technique, not dhyan. So that is Dhyan Vidhi. And that's the chapter name is Atma Sanyam Yoga or Dhyan Yoga, 6th chapter. But so again, repeating that this is not dhyan. There is no dhyan. These are all techniques. Once you follow the technique, you will be in dhyan. It's like that. So वो बोलने को आया था कि मैं ध्यान कर रहा हूँ, ध्यान कोई करता नहीं है. There is a technique. So the technique is given from 11 to, and we follow that. We'll do at the end. So that technique was given. Then 17th chapter onward, Bhagwan talked about the lifestyle. Yuktahar Viharasya, very famous shlok. Yuktahar Viharasya, Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu. And then Bhagwan says that if you follow that, then only yoga bhavati dukkha. This yoga, whether it is karma yoga or jnana yoga or dhyan, this will benefit you only when you have yukta ahar viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Meaning you have a balanced life. Yukta ahar vihar means your what consumption and expense, and it is like balance sheet, right? You consume भी जितना कमाते हो उससे ज्यादा खर्च मत करो, otherwise रेड में आ जाती है. So again, जितना कमाते हो उससे कम खर्च करो. Similarly, they are saying yukta ahar viharasya. Ahar vihar means the enjoying, and then युक्त, भगवान से युक्त कर्म से चेष्ट, कर्मों में जो चेष्टा है वो भी युक्त होनी चाहिए. Otherwise कर्म is not a Bhagwan is talking about like workaholic karma here. कि कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, because that is rajogun. So Gita, and we will see in the 14th chapter, all over Shastra teaching is very clear that कर्म भी सत्वगुण बढ़ाने के लिए है. Any karma we do, it is to raise a sattva. That is the goal of life, goal of spiritual life, adhyatmic. So, but if you are doing karma with rajogun more, then it will go to tamogun and you are entangled. Karma bandhan. So Bhagwan is saying, yukta cheshtasya karma. So karmo mein cheshta means the intent to do karma should be yukta. And then only you will rise to sattva. So that was the part around 17th chapter. Then Bhagwan talked about 19 to 25 chapter, the state of a yogi, and the example, metaphor, wonderful metaphor is given that the yogi's mind is like a unwavering flame. Yatha dipo nivatastho. In the absence of, not absence of air, because there is no absence of air, but the blowing air. If that the flame of candle or lamp, that is the state of yogi's mind. And that's what we, and the example is given us, so that is our goal. अभी हम लोग सत्संग में भी बैठे होते हैं कई बार, and we all know that Even now our mind is wandering here and there. कहीं भी जाता रहता है, मैं कुछ दिख जाएगा तो mind पे. That weak we are. So Bhagwan gave that analogy or metaphor to Arjun asked कि मैं समझ गया हूँ आपकी बात, but he says कि भगवान बड़ा मुश्किल है. Then he asks the question that mana hi chanchal कृष्णो वायु इव सुदुष्करम. बहुत चंचल है मन वायु की तरह. It's difficult to control. So क्या करें? Then Bhagwan says कि there are only two ways. Basically there are four ways, but Bhagwan says two and then later on two comes. Bhagwan says abhyas and vairagya. You constantly keep doing practice, and vairagya. Slowly, because if you don't have vairagya, then abhyas is like a mechanic. Vairagya means there is abhyas, vivek and vairagya. They go together. So samajh ke, whatever abhyas I am doing, I should understand. There should be a vivek should be used. Like the discriminatory power we have to use. And then only vairagya will happen. So between abhyas and vairagya, there is a vivek. And then only vairagya. So they work in tandem. It's not alag alag kuch ho raha hai. So Bhagwan said, then only that sadhan will happen. Then only the dhyan will happen. Then Bhagwan Arjuna asked in the middle that suppose someone is a spiritual practice. Suppose the life aborts. Something happens and maybe person become disabled or even death. So what happened to the sadhana? अभी इतनी प्रैक्टिस करी लेकिन अभी समाधि लगी नहीं थी, मे बी I have not reached, I have not enjoyed the benefit of the dhyan. तो क्या होगा? So Bhagwan says, don't worry Arjun, there is a rollover program. So Shruti Nam Gehe Abhijayati. The person who was left the sadhana in the middle because of some reason, this person will be born in the home of Shruti Nam Gehe Abhijayati. Means simple terms, you will be born, you will be given another opportunity in a very more conducive environment. So you continue your sadhana. So we should not feel like हम लोग कभी, and that's why they say like कि किस एज में शुरू करें, जब आपको समझ में आया शुरू करो. वो बुद्ध के साथ एक स्टोरी है कि उनको बुद्ध का प्रवचन चलता था, तो there were like some people sitting there. There was an old guy used to come to प्रवचन, and then someday somebody asked like how old are you? सब पूछते ना आप कितने, कोई young लोग भी थे. So somebody asked कि how old are you? So the old man said कि I am 7-year-old. And somebody said he's joking. He said no, I'm 7-year-old. And he said 7-year-old, I mean, you look like old. So he said I consider myself a 7-year-old. Why? He said मैं इनके प्रवचन में आता हूँ, लेकिन 7 साल पहले मुझे क्लिक किया कि अब मुझे समझ में आना शुरू हुआ. तो I consider myself that old only. 7 साल पहले ही मुझे समझ में आया कि ये क्या कह रहे हैं. So that's why I'm 7-year-old. So we should not worry because we will get another opportunity. And जब तक ये cycle life जब तक चलता रहेगा, तब तक हमें progress करना है. And then there will be a time where moksha, well, that is a separate topic. But Bhagwan says, don't worry, Arjun, continue doing that. Right? Then we saw that the 46, 47 slok, Bhagwan says, Arjun, dhyan, the gyan is okay. You can do spiritual learning, you can do tapas, you can do karma, everything is fine. But ultimately, dhyan is the final. And that's what he said, Tasma Dhyan Yogi Bhava Arjun. With Shraddha and Moksha is the goal. So Shraddha and Moksha, that's the last chapter is Moksha Sannyas Yoga. Then there is, before that is a Shraddha Traya Vibhag Yoga. So Bhagavan says that that's a Dhyan Yogi Bhava Arjun. And why he's saying Dhyan Yogi? And that's what the goal. Even if I am doing my karma, if my dhyan is in Bhagwan, all constantly, then I'm fine. I can do the entire जितने काम चल रहे हैं जीवन के सब चल सकते हैं. लेकिन मेरा ध्यान, and the example is, I mean, if you talk to psychologists, and the example is given that, and I personally, most of us have realized that when if I'm sleeping in another room and my child or maybe younger family member is sleeping, other baby sleeping in another room, and the child has cough, for example, the whole night you cannot have a deep sleep because constantly your mind is there that, oh, let me see if child is coughing, let me see if child is doing something. Constantly, even in my subconscious, I'm sleeping, this thought is there, oh, make sure that child is sleeping or child needs something, attention. इंसान के लिए हम ये कर सकते हैं. ये इसी का स्विच अगर भगवान के लिए हो जाए, constantly I'm doing anything, बट कृष्ण जो भी है, कृष्ण है, भगवान है, वो जो भी वट एवर, वो कॉन्स्टेंटली मेरे मेरे दिमाग में बने हुए। अब नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में आएगा, नेक्स्ट चैप्टर इज ऑल अबाउट दैट। तो भगवान सेज कि दैट इज ध्यान योगी। ध्यान योगी का मतलब आंख बंद करके बैठे हैं, वो दैट इज अ टेक्निक। आई मीन अगेन पीपल से कि 6 घंटे ध्यान को, दैट्स ऑल टेक्निक। उसके बाद जब उस टेक्निक से बाहर आए तो कॉन्स्टेंटली भगवान का ध्यान रहना चाहिए। कुछ भी कर रहे हैं तो भगवान, भगवान का ही सब कुछ है। सो 7th चैप्टर इज एक्चुअली, दैट्स व्हाई भगवान, हमारे आचार्य ने यहाँ पर एंड कर दिया, क्योंकि इट्स वेरी नाइस segue into the next chapter. So that's where 6th chapter ends here. So after 6th chapter, there is at the end of each chapter there is a shlok which our acharya has included just to remind us ki what are we doing in Bhagavad Gita. So we'll read, हर बुक में है आखिरी में, ओम तत्सदिति
ओम तत्सदिति
श्रीमद् भगवद गीतासु
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
निषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु
ब्रह्म विद्यायां
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
योगशास्त्रे
योगशास्त्रे
श्री कृष्णार्जुन संवादे
श्री कृष्णार्जुन संवादे
आत्मसंयम योगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः.
आत्मसंयम योगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः.
So that is the end of the chapter. So every chapter, only that chapter name is replaced, but otherwise remains. So let me share very quickly, and I'll just wanted to share with all of you that one day I was sitting and I was thinking that कि हमारे जितने भी शास्त्र हैं उसमें कहीं भी कुछ लिखा, मतलब कोई हमारे ऋषि लोग प्रमोशन नहीं करते थे. So lot of people ask me, can you see my screen, Pankaj bhai?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, right. So and you see the logo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So मैंने एक दिन बहुत सोच रहा था, आई वाज थिंकिंग कुछ भगवत गीता, बहुत लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि भगवत गीता क्या है, समझाइए 10 मिनट में, 15 मिनट में. तो समझाता हूँ. फिर एक दिन आई वाज टॉकिंग टू भक्ति एंड ज्ञान, एंड देन 3 of us, भक्ति ने डिजाइन किया है, द होल डिजाइन पिक्चर इज ड्रॉन बाय भक्ति, एंड आई गिव द टेक्स्ट ऑन दिस. सो वी केम अप विद दिस लोगो. सो नाउ एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हमने जो पढ़ा ना अभी, योग शास्त्र ब्रह्म विद्या नाम, दिस इज व्हाट भगवत गीता इज. So, and I'm going to share this with everyone. You can contemplate on this. You can like take this and think. So what is Srimad Bhagavad Gita? So there are two things. Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya. And what is Brahma Vidya? That means you are complete. The सारा अज्ञान ये है कि मैं समझता हूँ कि I am not complete. Actually, everybody, all of us, is that's why हम say पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम्. Not is Bhagwan. I am also complete, but I lack something. And lack means I am dependent on something outside. The moment I am depending on something, I become incomplete. Though I am complete. And that, so Brahma Vidya or Atma Vidya, they are synonym. People use it. Because Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. कोई दूसरा ब्रह्म है नहीं. So Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya. Bhagavad Gita tells us that I am complete. And if we follow the teaching, जब हमें आनंद आता है, whenever we are in आनंद, कभी हम छोटा मंदिर में भजन सुनते हैं, कुछ ग्लिम्स होता है, and then we enjoy that time I'm complete. The only problem is that is like थोड़ी देर के लिए आता है, क्षणिक, for a moment, and then I'm back to my normal likes and dislikes. And so that's what Bhagavad Gita's goal is to make sure that in the end, if we understand, comprehend, I feel I'm complete. I am that Satchidanand. But how do you reach that? Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Shastra means a way to completeness. That's the whole purpose. Shastra means instructions in simple terms. That whole word comes from Shas. Shas means to instruct. Shastra means which gives us the instruction. And Yoga means a technique, integration. In simple terms, आजकल सबको समझ में आता है. Integration is a word in technology. So Yoga word means integration. Integrating that teaching through the instruction to reach to Brahma Vidya is Bhagavad Gita. It's like that simple. So you are complete. Way to completeness, Bhagavad Gita tells. And that is all Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, all those yoga, that's why you call it Yoga Shastra. And how it happens? It happens through samvad. It's not just one way कि भगवान बोलते जा रहे हैं. Bhagwan is giving Arjun ample opportunity. Arjun, आप गीता पढ़िए, Arjun, same thing he is asking again and again. Oh, what a wonderful teacher. He is replying in the way he asks the question. ऐसा नहीं कह रहे यार बता दो दिया एक बार, सेकंड चैप्टर में फिर से भी वही 18 चैप्टर तक अर्जुन कीप आस्किंग similar questions. and Bhagwan keep answer. And that is called samvad, dialogue, which is a positive like communication. So when we go to the next, we see that. And actually there is a question also today that Shishya Guru. So we'll talk about this regularly. So this is what Bhagavad Gita is. Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. And that's what this shlok says, Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra. So we can keep this logo in mind whenever you're thinking of Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to use this logo. And this is really last week in the camp. So it's very fresh. And thanks to Bhakti and Jnana in helping this. Okay, so now we have finished 6th chapter. So this is just a summary. And you can see, Pankaj, this table, right?
I can see there. Yeah, Excel sheet. Yeah.
So I just created because I work with kids also, but it's simple. So we have completed 6 and we are in 7. So first chapter is Moh. Bhagwan talked about delusion. Vishad is nothing but Moh, right? The confusion, delusion, depression, whatever names. Second chapter has 2 things. One is Atma Gyan. So 11th shlok to 30th shlok is Atma Gyan. And the second part, 54 shlok to 72 shlok, is Sthit Pragya, which is a very unique topic placed in Bhagavad Gita. It has nothing to do with Atma Gyan. But Arjun asked question, can you show me the role model? आप बता रहे हो एक ज्ञानी है, कर्म योगी, कौन ऐसा? So Bhagwan has given the definition of that person, Sthit Pragya. Wonderful. I mean, what a profound teaching. मुझे तो कहीं नहीं मिली, मैं इतना पढ़ता हूँ, इतना बढ़िया 17 श्लोक में ये क्या आदमी है, राइट? और क्यों ऐसा हो जाता है और कैसे ठीक हो सकता है, कितने उसमें 3-4 तो मेटाफर्स ही हैं. ये आपूर निर्माणम अचल प्रतिष्ठम, समुद्र की तरह है कि सब समा जाते हैं, डिस्टर्ब नहीं होता है. या निशा सर्वभूतानाम तस्याम जागृति संयम, ऐसे मेटाफोर हैं. And then कछुए वाला एग्जांपल, राइट? यदा समरते चायम कूर्मो अंगानि सर्वश. This person has so much control. Sthit pragya. Sthit pragya means that pragya, that buddhi is always available, always available. Even if I'm sleeping, somebody wakes me up. What is that? So that is Sthit pragya. बहुत ही बढ़िया श्लोक. So there are 2 parts in that. Then 3rd chapter we saw Karma Yoga. Bhagwan talked about action and duty, both. Action is a kriya. When kriya has a purpose, when kriya has a jnana attached to it, it becomes karma. Otherwise it is just a kriya. Action, कुछ भी करते रहेंगे. लेकिन when action has jnana, vivek, then it becomes karma. And when there is a selfless karma, then it becomes karma yoga. So the whole chapter is that. Then Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga, 4th chapter. So 4th and 5th are extension of 2nd and 3rd. So in the 4th, Bhagwan talked about wisdom of action and inaction. Karma, akarma. Kaise hote hain? Karma, karma, karma. It's a very like a twisting kind of words, but while you're doing, you're still not doing. Or while you're not doing, you're doing. And we saw the entire chapter. Wonderfully done. Very. And then 5th chapter, we saw that sannyas, that Bhagwan brought a term called sannyas. So renunciation of doership. Kartapan, absence of kartapan. That is sannyas. Not sannyasi, Bhagwan was the sannyasi. That's a ashram sannyasi. Bhagwan ka sannyasi, Krishna ka sannyasi, Krishna khud sannyasi hai. Oh, he says that definition, yo na dveshti na kankshati. जिसको ना द्वेष है ना राग है, वो सन्यासी. इज सिंपल डेफिनेशन. राग द्वेष नहीं है तो आप सन्यासी हैं. राग द्वेष है तो डजंट मैटर आप क्या वस्त्र पहने हुए हैं, आप सन्यासी नहीं है. That's so that's our fifth chapter. And the 6th chapter we saw that dhyan is the focus of that, how to discipline the mind. And with that we enter into the 7th chapter, which is very wonderful. I mean, I love this chapter. The reason is I tell you why. हम लोग okay, let me stop this. So हम लोग typically when we go for to watch a movie, and they suppose movie has Tom Hanks or Morgan Freeman or Amitabh Bachchan or maybe old time Rajkumar or Balraj Sahni, those kind of. So when these super stars are there in the movie, you go for to see them, and typically you see that when what they do, producer, they'll introduce them after half an hour. So, but you say I'm waiting for Tom Hanks to come or Rajkumar to come, or because that's what those are the stars, right? So 7th chapter is like that. Up to 6th chapter, if you let me go back to the chart one more time, I missed that 2nd column. So if you look at these columns, last 3 columns, Jeev, Jagat and Jagdish. So first 6th chapter, you see Bhagwan is giving emphasis on Jeev. Jeev means me. मेरी बात कर रहा है. कर्म भी मेरा है, ज्ञान भी मेरा है, ध्यान भी मेरा है. भगवान ने अपनी बात ही नहीं करी. 6 चैप्टर तक। और जगत की बात करें, शुरू में फर्स्ट चैप्टर में जगत, जगत मीन्स द वर्ल्ड, डिप्रेशन इज बिकॉज ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिलेशनशिप, तुम्हारे गुरु, तुम्हारे मामा काका। एंड देन सेकंड चैप्टर इज ऑल अबाउट जगत की देयर इज अ देह जाती है, देन डेथ हो जाती है, वो सब। और उसके बाद में जगत की सिर्फ भगवान बात करते हैं जीव की, आप कर्म आपका, ज्ञान आपका। 7 चैप्टर में he talks about him in the sense Bhagwan, not particular Krishna. So that's why I said that there is and then Jagdish, Jagat and Jagdish. Jagdish means Bhagwan. So Bhagwan's entry happens in 7 chapters. Like that, same. The big stars entry happens around like intermission के time पे आती है. Then the movie you start enjoying. So अभी तक तो भगवान मेरे ही बात कर रहे थे. You do this, ये तेरा कर्म है. अभी 7 chapter में he says कि because the reason is that if you look today, somebody I put it there too, that meditate on what? पूरा सारा खेल भगवान ने बताया कि ध्यान योगी भवा अर्जुन. So Arjun says, अर्जुन ने पूछा नहीं है, लेकिन I interpreted. Being my name Sanjay, I take liberty to interpret it. क्योंकि संजय ने भी इंटरप्रेट किया होगा, जो बताया धृतराष्ट्र को, तो मैं कुछ कुछ इंटरप्रेट कर लेता हूँ. So now obviously अर्जुन ने सोचा, हमें मेरे दिमाग में आया था ध्यान योगी भवा अर्जुन, ध्यान ऑन व्हाट? क्योंकि एक ही बार भगवान ने वहां पर बोला युक्त आसीत मत पर, वो जो 15 श्लोक है उसमें बोला है कि you do this and युक्त आसीत, just stay with me in mind. So Arjun's question is meditate on what? So 7th chapter is answer to that, meditate on what. So 7th chapter Bhagwan elaborates Ishwar and Swarup, or Bhagwan Swarup, we call it Bhagwan Swarup. So with that we'll enter into 7th chapter. बहुत बढ़िया चैप्टर है, बहुत ही अच्छा है, और इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हमें क्लियर हो जाएंगी. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन पीपल है, सगुण ईश्वर, निर्गुण ईश्वर, साकार निराकार, ये सब बहुत चक्कर चलते हैं हमारे लाइक. एंड पीपल आर कंफ्यूज, कोई से कि भगवान है, भगवान नहीं है. ये सब जो प्रश्न है 7th chapter, 8th chapter, 9th, 10th, 11th, these 5 chapters Bhagwan is going to clarify everything. 11th में तो विश्वरूप, will see that विराट रूप भगवान. And then 12th chapter में he'll stop and give a pause कि ये जो मैंने बताया है ये क्वालिटी है जिसकी ये समझ जाता है. ये जो 7th to 11th chapter समझने वाला आदमी कौन है, वो 12th chapter. We'll see that when we come to that. But this is a wonderful part where Bhagwan, now we see Bhagwan. So there is a survey done in the world, and you can see that Google पे भी survey है कि how many people in today's world believe in God. क्योंकि there is a बीच में तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, there is an increasing number of people who don't believe in God. God अलग अलग है, Abrahamic faith कुछ बोलते हैं. So even now it is more than 80% people, they believe there is a God. There is. तो this chapter is very relevant. This chapter means ये 5 chapter की भगवान की बात कर रहे हैं. कौन भगवान है वो नहीं, कोई भी स्वरूप हो सकता है, मैनिफेस्टेशन हो सकता है ब्रह्मन. But these 3 chapters tell what Bhagwan is, and it is very well done. क्योंकि there are faith, there are traditions. They say कि we believe in Bhagwan, we believe in God, but there is no God. There is no form, and we don't know. We are not seeing. इसमें तो गीता में तो भगवान दावा करते हैं, एंड इज तू मान के तो देख, मैं तुझे दिखूंगा, अब किसी भी शेप में, डजंट मैटर. दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दैट सनातन धर्म और हिंदू ट्रेडिशन, कि आप अगर मानेंगे तो भगवान आपको उस रूप में, दैट्स द रीजन वी हैव इतने सारे देवी देवता. आपको क्या चाहिए, आपको उस रूप में आनंद मिलेगा. हम लोगों ने उसका मिसयूज और हमारे लोगों ने समझाया नहीं है, हमारे आचार्य ने, पंडितों ने, तो हमारी प्रॉब्लम है, वो भगवान की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट ये जो 4-5 चैप्टर है, अगर इसको ठीक से समझें तो ये सारा कंफ्यूजन खत्म हो जाता है कि भगवान है या नहीं है, कोई मानता है कोई नहीं मानता, हनुमान जी क्या है, दुर्गा क्या है, सब क्लियर कर देंगे भगवान. सो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड चैप्टर दैट वी लाइक स्टार्टिंग. सो विल रीड श्री परमात्मने नमः. अथ सप्तमो अध्यायः.
अथ सप्तमोऽध्यायः.
श्री भगवान उवाच.
श्री भगवान उवाच.
मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ.
मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ.
योगं युञ्जन् मदाश्रयः.
योगं युज्यन् मदाश्रयः.
असंशयं समग्रं माम्.
असंशयं समग्रं माम्.
यथा या ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु।
यथा ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु। इसके उपरांत श्री भगवान बोले, हे पार्थ, तू मेरे में अनन्य प्रेम से आसक्त हुए मन वाला और अनन्य भाव से मेरे परायण योग में लगा हुआ, मुझको संपूर्ण विभूति, बल, ऐश्वर्य आदि गुणों से युक्त सबका आत्मरूप जिस प्रकार संशय रहित जानेगा, उसको सुन।
क्या बात है। Yeah. So we'll second also Pankaj bhai, and then we'll
Okay.
Shivanji
इसका
English part. Yeah.
okay.
So,
Okay.
ज्ञानम तेहम सविज्ञानम
ज्ञानम तेहम सविज्ञानम
इदं वक्ष्याम शेषतः
इदं वक्ष्याम्य शेषतः
यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्य
यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्य
ज्ञातव्यम वशिष्यते।
ज्ञातव्यम अविशिष्यते। मैं तेरे लिए इस रहस्य सहित तत्व ज्ञान को संपूर्णता से कहूंगा कि जिसको जानकर संसार में फिर और कुछ भी जानने योग्य शेष नहीं रहता है।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है। वंडरफुल। आप शिवांजी, you can read the English part and then.
The blessed Lord said, with the mind fixed on me, O Partha, practicing yoga and taking refuge in me, listen how you will know me wholly without any doubt.
Yeah, so now, so that's what we said. Second chapter, 7th chapter of Bhagwan is revealing Ishwar Swarup or Bhagwan Swarup or both, whatever form. So there are a couple of things we always hear that Sagun Sakar, Sagun means with attributes and form, and then there's a Nirgun Nirakar, which is Nirgun ka matlab attribute-less nahi hai. That's a problem with English, because otherwise it's पूर्ण। attribute-less कैसे हो सकता है भगवान? It's पूर्ण। So निर्गुण का मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि attribute, निर्गुण का मतलब सारे attribute हैं उसमें, but निराकार, there is no form and shape, and we know the example. For example, सगुण साकार, even the Srishti, we see हम लोग तो when we do Vatavraksh puja, oh, there is a Bhagwan in Vatavraksh. Ganga puja, there is a Bhagwan in Ganga, so there is Sakar, right? And some Sagun, we know Ganga is Gun. Ram Krishna, जो भी भगवान राम, भगवान कृष्ण, हनुमान जी, all these are Sagun Sakar. But then Nirgun Nirakar, like Brahman, Vedant में से, Brahman is, there is no Akar, but there is no Nirgun. गुण तो भगवान के, actually is a पूर्ण गुण है, निर्गुण नहीं है, लेकिन बोलने में आता है निर्गुण निराकार। ओम, हम लोगों ने ओमकार बोला, नानक ने ओमकार बोला, हाँ, उनके भी सेम चीज, भगवान है, उन्होंने ओमकार बोला, ये निर्गुण निराकार है। So that's what, so Bhagwan in this chapter is going to talk both Sagun. So the श्लोक में भगवान कह रहे हैं ये जो रहस्य है, I mean second श्लोक में भगवान says, first श्लोक में he says कि if you, he says मई आसक्त मना, and we can translate simple term में आसक्त means attached, but he is not talking about the worldly attachment, he's talking about attached to Bhagwan. So there's a big difference. When attached to the world, it is become asakti, and it is a bandhan. When I am attached to Bhagwan, it is mukti. That's it. आपको direction ही change करना है. Attachment to attachment ही है. If I had to go to Niagara from Pittsburgh, then I had to take 90 west. But if I had to go to Chicago, I'll still take 90 east. That's it. Direction ही change करना है. I still take 90. But just east because I'm going to Chicago. Now I'm not going to Niagara. But I say, oh, I'll still go to Niagara. You know, I want to reach Chicago and keep driving to a Niagara. No, you will not reach. You will not reach Chicago. Kitna bhi drive kar lo. You have to take 90 east, 90 west. So similarly, or Niagara ke liye 90 east. So Bhagwan says, itna hi karna hai. Mai asakt mana, apne man ko, and that is dhyan. That's why previous chapter के 8 में ध्यान योगी भवा अर्जुन, ध्यान योगी भवा and asakta mana is the same thing, nothing else. Constantly I am focused on Bhagwan, whatever I am doing. So Bhagwan says, if you do that, asashayam gyasasi tat shunu, asanshayam, doubtlessly you will come to know me. To me or truth, I mean, Bhagwan का नाम सत्य है। सत्य को भी जानना है तो यू हैव टू बी कॉन्स्टेंटली प्रैक्टिस सत्य, लिव सत्य, एंड देन यू रियलाइज सत्य। भगवान से डाउटलेसली, भगवान के असंशय, नो डाउट अर्जुन, इफ यू हैव दैट कॉन्स्टेंटली मई आसक्त बना ध्यान योगी, then you will realize me, you will know that. Or Brahma realization, self realization. The second shloka Bhagwan says that rahasya. So he says savijnanam asheshita vakshami. So that rahasya is that some people think I am nirgun, some people think I am sagun, and that is a mystery, and I'll clarify that. So he's saying in the beginning itself, second shloka में बोल दिया उन्होंने कि that doubt जो mystery है, क्योंकि वो जानने के बाद इफ यू नो दैट मिस्ट्री देन नथिंग एल्स, सो ही सेज ज्ञातम ज्ञातव्यम न अविशेष्यते, ये जानने के बाद नथिंग एल्स टू बी नोन, एंड दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम। हम लोगों को कभी डाउट होता है कि भगवान है, कभी नहीं है, कभी कंफ्यूजन हो जाते हैं कि हनुमान जी है नहीं है। ये ऑल दीज डाउट्स आर बिकॉज देयर इज नो क्लैरिटी इन अवर माइंड अबाउट द होल, जैसे कहते हैं तत्व, नेक्स्ट श्लोक में आएगा। सो भगवान सेज कि वंस यू, देयर इज उपनिषद में कहानी भी आती है, एक श्लोक भी आता है। A student is asking teacher, kasmin vigyate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavati, what should I know after knowing that nothing else to be remain to be known? And the answer given in Upanishad, tattvamasi, you know yourself, that's it. Once you know yourself, nothing else to be known to you. That's very simple. It's so simple कि सारा खेल तो मैं, मतलब मैं अपने आप को भूल गया हूँ। एंड दैट्स व्हाट प्रीवियस श्लोक में कहा भी भगवान ने कि ब्रह्म विद्या जो हमने लोगों देखा, यू आर कंप्लीट बट आई हैव फॉरगॉटन दैट आई एम कंप्लीट। तो यही जानना है। सो भगवान सेज कि वंस यू नो दिस, नथिंग एल्स विल रिमेन टू बी। सो विल रीड वन मोर थर्ड श्लोक एंड देन स्टॉप टुडे, वी विल कंटिन्यू, दिस स्टिल हैव सम डिस्कशन, बट लेट्स रीड द थर्ड श्लोक। राइट नो, भगवान इज थ्रोइंग ए चैलेंज। भगवान इज अ गुड टीचर, ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ मतलब सब बना के खिलाने वाले नहीं है, आपको बताएंगे खाना आप ही को है। So Manusha, third shloka of 7th chapter. Manushanam sahasreshu
मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु
kaschit yatati siddhaye
कश्चित् ततिसिद्धये
yatatam api siddhanam
यततामपि सिद्धानां
kaschin mam vetti tatvatah।
कश्चिन् मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः। परंतु हजारों मनुष्यों में कोई ही मनुष्य मेरी प्राप्ति के लिए यत्न करता है, और उन यत्न करने वाले योगियों में भी कोई ही पुरुष मेरे परायण हुआ मेरे को तत्व से जानता है, अर्थात यथार्थ मर्म से जानता है।
Among thousands of men, one perchance strives for perfection. Even among those successful strivers, only one perchance knows me in essence.
Yeah, so it is like this. भगवान says कि हजारों लोग प्रयास करते हैं, लेकिन सिद्ध means understanding completely. Siddha word is like accomplishment or reaching to that. Some strive, like some people get that glimpse, and among those strivers जो बहुत, जो जिनको थोड़ा भी मिल गया है, rare one knows me in reality. कुछ ही, क्योंकि लोग फिर विड्रॉ कर लेते हैं, फिर वही कंफ्यूजन शुरू हो जाता है। एक कोई जानता है मुझे तत्व से, एंड देयर इज वी कैन स्टॉप विद दैट स्टोरी। दैट स्टोरी वाज दैट देयर वाज अ किंग, उसने अपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर को पूछा कि माय सब्जेक्ट्स, आई टेक केयर ऑफ देम, दे लव मी। तो उसने बोला कि वेल दैट मे बी योर डिल्यूजन। नो नो, आई थिंक दे लव मी अ लॉट। ओके लेट्स ट्राई दैट। तो उसने बोला, अनाउंस किया कि देयर इज अ किंग इज अवेलेबल फॉर पर्सनल मीटिंग, but the condition is that he is going to meet you at 4 a.m. in the morning. So if anybody wants to meet him in person, as an opportunity, you can come 4 a.m. in the morning. तो सब लोगों ने अनाउंस किया, लोगों का चलो अच्छा भाई ऐसे मिलना, चलो बहुत लोग भीड़ इकट्ठी। बट what the prime minister did or minister did, he said there will be a fair from the town to the palace. किंग जहाँ पर है, बीच में वो कंट्री फेयर टाइप होता है, म्यूजिक एंड जलेबी समोसा नाच गाना बहुत कुछ होगा, लाइक इट्स अ कंट्री फेयर एंटरटेनमेंट, फ्री बट फ्री फॉर ऑल। अब लोग चलने तो लगे, लेकिन किसी ने कोई समोसा खाने बैठ गया, कोई खेलने लग गया, और सब लोग बिजी हो गए। एक और फिर जब सुबह 4 बजे, राजा तो बड़ा खुश था कि अब बहुत लोग आएंगे, तो सुबह 4 बजे देखा एक बूढ़ी महिला बस पहुंची, लेडी। And Raja said, what happened to the people? He said, they are all enjoying. वो सब उसमें they are entangled, वो मजे कर रहे हैं, खा पी रहे हैं, फ्री में मिल रहा है सब। एंटरटेनमेंट मूवी देख रहे हैं, तो ये अकेली महिला पहुंची, तो राजा ने उसको पूछा कि यू आर द ओनली वन, तुम, बट यू ऑल्सो केम टू द, या आई केम टू द सेम पाथ, बट यू डिडंट सी दोस, बोले या आई सॉ दैट पीपल आर ईटिंग एंड ड्रिंकिंग एवरीथिंग, बट डिडंट यू स्टॉप? ही सेड नो, I just wanted to meet you. I had just one goal, because my constantly I was thinking of you. So those things never distracted me, and I came. So that's what Bhagwan is saying. Bhagwan is saying, Kashinvam yatatam api siddhanam kashinvam te. एक कोई मुझ मेरे पास पहुंचता है, ध्यान योगी भवार्जुन, constantly keep सत्य, उसको सत्य कह लें या उसको कोई भी वैल्यू कह लें, धर्म कह लें, वॉट एवर वी कॉल इट, भगवान का नाम, इसलिए हम तो भगवान को बोलते हैं राम है विग्रहवान धर्म, भगवान धर्म की एम्बॉडीमेंट है, धर्म की, बट इफ यू आर फोकस ऑन धर्म, you will reach. So that's what Bhagwan is saying. So we'll stop here, because there is a question. We'll take it and then continue next week. There's an interesting discussion around that, right? I'll stop.